She found the other woman's name written inside her own wedding card. The man who came home was never really mine. Her name was Loretta Mae Calloway. She was 31 years old in the summer of 1988. She lived in a pale yellow house on Crescent Mill Road, just outside Dunnville, Kentucky. The kind of house where the porch swing moved even when the wind didn't. She had married Dennis Calloway in the spring of 1982. He was broad-shouldered and slow to smile. But when he did smile, it changed the whole room. She used to say that. She used to say it to anyone who'd listen. Dennis drove a '79 Firebird the color of charcoal. He worked regional sales for an industrial parts company out of Lexington. The road was his office. He was gone Monday through Thursday. Every week. For 6 years, Loretta didn't question it. That was just Dennis. That was just the life they'd built together. She kept the house. She tended the garden. She played Patsy Cline on the kitchen radio every morning without fail. They had a rhythm, a language made of small things. He'd leave her cassette tapes on the counter when he came home Fridays. John Mellencamp, Tom Petty, Springsteen. She kept everyone. Still in the cases. Still labeled in his handwriting. In September of 1988, Dennis left for Monday trip like any other. He kissed her forehead. He grabbed his brown leather bag. He backed the Firebird out slow. She stood at the window and watched him go. He never came home that Friday. He called from a payphone on Saturday morning. Said the job ran long. Said he'd be back Sunday. His voice sounded distant. Not far away, distant. Far inside himself, distant. She noticed. She filed it somewhere quiet. Sunday came. He came home. He was fine. He was Dennis. They had pot roast and watched the news and went to bed. But something had shifted. Something low in the atmosphere, the way the air changes before a storm you can't yet see. 3 weeks later, she was sorting a pile of his things from the car. Old receipts. A gas station coffee cup, and then a Polaroid. She almost didn't look at it. She almost set it aside. But she did look. It was a woman. She was laughing. Standing in front of a green door Loretta did not recognize. She was holding a child. A boy. Maybe 3 years old. Maybe 4. The boy had Dennis's eyes. His exact eyes on the back of the Polaroid in someone else's handwriting and a date. June 12, 1985. And a name. Sandra. Loretta sat down on the kitchen floor. The linoleum was cold. The radio was still playing. She sat there until the song ended. Until the next song started. Until the whole afternoon went gray outside. She started to look. Quietly. Methodically. The way someone looks when they already know what they're going to find. She found motel receipts from Bowling Green, Harrisburg, Owensboro. She found a second phone bill. A name on a lease. Sandra Pruitt. 44 Wicker Lane, Hardin County. She drove there. She didn't tell anyone. She drove 2 hours in the rain on a Tuesday and she parked across the street from a white bungalow. She waited. An hour passed. Then the green door opened, and Dennis walked out. He was in his undershirt. He was laughing. The little boy was on his shoulders. Loretta did not move. She sat in her car with the engine off and the rain coming down, and she watched the man she had loved for 12 years walk back inside a different life. She watched the green door close. She sat there until the lights inside went off. Until the street was dark and empty and still. She drove home. She made coffee. She sat at the kitchen table and she opened their wedding card. The one she'd kept in the cedar box on the top shelf. The one from 1982. She had read it 100 times. She knew every word Dennis had written, except she had never noticed the inside back cover. Hidden beneath the envelope flap, 7 small words written in a different hand. In handwriting she now recognized. It said, "I was there before she was." The wedding card had been signed by Sandra Pert. Sandra, who had been at the wedding. Sandra, who Dennis had introduced as a cousin from out of state. Sandra, who Loretta had hugged at the reception and offered cake to and thanked for making the drive. The Polaroid had not been taken in 1985. Loretta looked again at the date on the back. She had read it wrong in the low kitchen light. The date was not 1985. It was 1982. June 12, 1982. 3 weeks after her wedding. The child in the photo was not 3 or 4 years old. He was 6. Dennis had a son who was 6 years old before Loretta and Dennis had ever exchanged vows. Before the ceremony. Before the yellow house. Before every single cassette tape and pot roast dinner and forehead kiss. He had not built a second life after marrying her. She had been the second life. She sat at that table until morning. She did not cry. She was past crying. She was in a place that exists beyond crying, where the body simply waits. She listened to the house settle around her. She listened to the clock on the wall. She listened to the silence where a life used to be. Loretta Mae Calloway left Dunnville in October of 1988. She took the cassette tapes. She took the wedding card. She never spoke to Dennis again. No one in Dunnville ever really knew why she left. She moved to a small apartment in Elizabethtown. She got a job at a fabric store. She planted a window box with marigolds, and every Friday, without fail, she played Patsy Cline on the kitchen radio. Some things you cannot unknow. Some loves carve into you so deep the scar is just part of your face now. Loretta knew that. She had always known that. She had just never known that the whole thing had been a ghost story from the very beginning.